What's good, y'all? It is Sean P. the Bluff God. Hey! And we are back again. And today we will be discussing the latest chapter, chapter 1037, Drunken, Dragon, Bagua. Right. But before we get into that, before we get into the chapter, let me first start off by saying make sure you show some love and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. I'm doing a giveaway at 50 subscribers. I'll be doing a giveaway where I'll be giving away 2 of those Jolly Rogers to 2 lucky subscribers. And we're not even that far off, honestly. You know, we're not that far from that 50 subscriber benchmark. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and get us over that hump. And also make sure you follow me on Instagram, on Twitter at BlumpGuide. I also have a Facebook page where I put content on. All these will be linked in the description, as well as the One Piece Facebook group and the One Piece Discord, where all in the description box. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the chapter today. All right, so again, we are doing One Piece chapter 1037, Drunken, Dragon, Bagua. And on the cover page, we got the Vin Smokes. We got Ichiji, Judge, and Reiju. It's about to forget her name. You know, I'm horrible remembering names. So you'll see me a lot kind of struggle with names. So and they're kind of like looking off. You see on the bottom in the caption it says Germa 66 66 and Emotionless Excursion Volume 2 Judge Size. So supposedly Judge is signed for something. I don't really know what he is signed for, but he's signed for something. But yeah, let's get into the chapter. But well, let me talk about the cover page for a little bit. I'm glad we're sticking with the Vin Smoke theme, because I was kind of nervous. I was thinking they was probably going to talk about all the groups that escaped Whole Cake Island at the time. But I really wanted a Vin Smoke centric cover page, and that seems to be what we're getting today. A Vin Smoke centric cover page. A cover story. My bad. Let's continue. All right. So we start off at the Flower Capital. People still celebrating, drinking, talking about, this is the only day of the year that we could drink. We won't be able to drink for another year. So we might as well enjoy it. Some people like super drunk, whatever, but it don't matter. And then we also see some of the citizens writing on these kind of like balloons. I think they're like hot air balloons, miniature hot air balloons that they write on, giving a message to the dead, and then they go send it off. And we get a look at some of the people writing. One of them says, "I want to see mom," or "mama," I think, and we see another one saying, "I hope I can feed my children." So these people are pretty much praying to their ancestors to get these wishes to come true. And then we cut to the fight on top of Onigashima between Monkey D. Luffy and Kaido. And we see Kaido just chugging his alcohol, chugging some sake. I assume it's sake, but he's just drinking, just chugging. And Luffy talking about, "Hey, why are you drinking right now?" And Kaido said, "Look, man, I'm having fun at the moment. You guys already ruined my banquet that I was having, so might as well continue with my part. I might as well, just because you come in and wanting to pick a fight with me, that don't mean you gonna ruin my party mood." So Kaido pretty much chugging while telling Luffy this, and now we Kaido pretty much drunk. He pretty much drunk out his mind, and Luffy's talking about like, "Hey man, don't use this as an excuse when I beat you. You know, don't use being drunk as an excuse for when I beat you." And Kaido says, "Hey man, don't be stupid. I'm not making myself weaker. I wouldn't make myself weaker by drinking." Which I kind of question. But we gonna take it for what it is. And we see Luffy pretty much. It seems like he punches. Well, it looked like he's punching Luffy, or Luffy's punching Kaido. But even as he gets punched, I don't know if he dodges it or if he's taking the hit and still pretty much laughing and enjoying himself. But we see next Kaido come around with his own attack, like right away, with a drunken dragon Bagua. Pretty much the title of the chapter, lightning hammer, and he pretty much spikes Luffy into the ground, the top of the skull, the roof. I guess you could say the roof. He spikes him into the roof, and you can see from the inside of Onigashima that the roof is pretty much cracked. Like there's people talking about, "Hey, there's a crack in the roof. What's up? What's up with that?" And I think Kaido being in his drunk state, his drunk phase, he kind of I want to say he regrets what he just did, because now it's like he's saying, "Dang man, my the island's mostly destroyed. The island, the skull, the castle, everything's pretty much destroyed." And let me read what he says. He said, "As much as fun as this might be, the castle and island are half destroyed already. They're useless to me now. I'm so miserable, I can't even keep one castle intact." And we see Luffy ravening, or like pretty much in pain from that attack. But Kaido just in his intoxicated state, talking about he'll have to rebuild everything, even though it took 5 years to build. Now he's gonna have to rebuild all of it. What up, Q? He said, "I do understand since alcohol gives confidence boost. Do maybe confidence plays a role with your hockey?" I don't know. Because when he said something about his later in the chapter, which we haven't got to it yet, but later when he says his hockey is getting stronger, that right after Kaido is pretty much sobering up. So I don't know if, I could see confidence. Yeah, confidence would be something that strengthens hockey, but also I would assume focus does as well. Well, so yeah, Kaido's just drunk. Him and Luffy go back and forth. Luffy goes in for an attack, but Kaido uses a Dragon Twister Demolition Gust, and we see Kaido crying, which is kind of the funny part. Like Kaido crying, talking about, "Stay away from me, just leave me alone, you idiot." So Kaido's being pretty much an emotional wreck right now. But even then, he's still giving them, just like he taking these attacks. He's giving them. He's sending them right back at Luffy, and he tries to go in for another Thunder Bagua, but Luffy pretty much jumps on Kaido's club, and you know, pretty much a straight punch. You know, like I don't want to say that's a is that a kick. I think he kicks Kaido. Yeah, it's like he pretty much kicks Kaido in the face, right in the face, and Kaido's still drunk, or screaming, but he gets right back up, and him and Luffy clashes, pretty much headbutt clash, and you see all like the Conqueror's Haki emanating from this headbutt clash, and Kaido pretty much said, or this is when Luffy says his, this is when Luffy said his Haki's getting stronger, and then next Kaido says, just when I'm finally get good and drunk, you're going to sober me up. And he like shoots a blast out of his mouth. He shoots. I want to say, I don't know if this is dragon breath, because when he does the dragon breath, he's usually in his dragon form. Not saying he can't do them in his normal form, but we usually see his dragon blast breath in his dragon form. But at the same time, he's in his hybrid form, so I guess it will also make sense that he does it in his hybrid form as well. And Luffy goes in for Gum Gum Rock Gatlin, and Kaido goes in for Candly Dragon Swarm, and both of them are just pretty much going for a flurry of attacks with each other. Pretty much canceling some of their punches out, I would guess. Even though Kaido's not punching, he has his club. He's attacking with his club. And they pretty much both connect at the same time with a solid attacks. And Kaido goes in for a swing, but Luffy goes in with a Conqueror's infuse, almost kind of like a third gear kick, I would say, and then he kicks Kaido right in the stomach, and then we see Kaido's pretty much spitting out blood right after the attack. But then this is to me when the chapter gets interesting. Like I do enjoy the fight a lot, but this is kind of where I would say, the chapter really gets interesting, because we cut to Marijoa, right, where we see the Gorosei talking. We see one of the Gorosei talk about how the reverie is simply a curse, but one of the other ones tell him like, hey man, just let it go already, right? And we see that they're talking about the fight in Wano. How it's pretty intense. They talk about that Robin should be in a custody by now from the CP0 agents, and he says when one of them says when Kaido and Big Mom are involved in a fight, death could easily come for anyone, which makes it the perfect cover to eliminate inconveniences. So I guess they're going to use the cover of this battle to take care of some of their problems, such as what I would assume Who's Who, which we seen earlier in the arc about CP0 implying that they had to eliminate somebody, which was implying it was Who's Who at the time. Capture Robin and probably eliminate the other Straw Hat, or eliminate the Straw Hats, just in case Kaido and Big Mom doesn't eliminate them. We also see how all the world government ships are outside of Wano. They're like outside of Wano. I guess they're waiting to make a move for after this battle, for when this battle wraps up. And then we see one of the guys, one of the agents. He kind of looked like he might be like a CP, like a CP1 or 8, somewhere between CP1 and maybe 8. I would say he looked like one of the CP agents. He's talking about like, hey, I don't, he sees something kind of far off in the distance, which turns out to be the silhouette of Zunisha. But before we get the whole silhouette of Zunisha, we cut to, or we're watching the conversation of the Gorosei, which I'm a pretty much say I'm gonna read what they are talking about. Okay, so we see the guy in the big old mustache Gorosei guy said, "No, that's impossible. That fruit is only legend now, even to us. It has no awaken, or it has not awakened for centuries upon centuries." Then the blonde Gorosei guy that kind of remind me of Sanjay a little bit. Well, he doesn't remind me of Sanjay. I guess I'm saying that because there was an old theory back then that he was possibly related to Sanjay. Now, I mean, and that's it could kind of still be the case, but he's not like a dad. He's not like a direct ancestor of Sanjay. Like he could be like like a great grand or something, you know. But he says, then why would the world government bother to give that one specific devil fruit another name? And then when we see the silhouette of Zunisha, it says, it's to erase that fruit's name from the annals of history, isn't it? All right, man. And then we get the to be continued. And the thing about it is we don't get a chapter to what next not next Sunday, but the Sunday after. In 2 weeks. That's gonna be the next chapter. It's 2 weeks. All these chapter breaks, man, they killing me. Oh man. But yeah, overall good chapter. But let's talk about it. Before I talk about chapter, I also want to say I'm sorry, you guys. I wanted to drop something yesterday, but I had a job yesterday, and I thought it was going to be a short job, but it ended up pretty much being taking most of the day, at least. And then when I got off, I was tired. I wasn't really feeling too good. Matter of fact, I'm still kind of not feeling too good. I actually think I might be sick. I think I could potentially be sick, but yeah. So I was a little off yesterday. I didn't want to do a stream, but I couldn't miss the chapter. I couldn't miss the chapter stream. So we here today talking about it. Now, to some of the things that stuck out to me about this chapter. All right, so I kind of want to talk about drunk Kaido, right? And is this a way to is Kaido being drunk sort of Oda's way of nerfing Kaido? Or is it more of a flex from Kaido? Because we do see despite Kaido being drunk, he is still able to go toe to toe with Luffy and pretty much still dominate a good portion of the fight. Despite being drunk, he still seemed pretty on his game. Kaido still seems like he's strong on his game. So I don't know. I don't know if I would say it nerfed him, but I do kind of feel as though it did nerf him because he's kind of mumbling about like irrelevant stuff. I'm not saying it's irrelevant, but it's like irrelevant to the fight at hand. He's talking about the how he's pretty much destroying Onigashima, which after all this time of him fighting and doing all this damage to the island, now and all of a sudden it's finally seeping into his head that dang man, I'm doing all this destruction to my home, you know. But you know, like we see, despite him being drunk, he's still doing a pretty good job of, you know, getting, you know, I ain't saying he's dominating because Luffy has been keeping up with him this whole time, but he's doing a lot of damage to Luffy. You know, like he's been, you know, like he spiked Luffy into the top of the skull, and you know he's been able to keep up with Luffy's Gatling without any trouble. But you know he's still kind of acting goofy. He's not himself. He's crying and you know talking about a bunch of relevant stuff. So I don't know if I would say that to if he's not nerfed, you know. And Cube said, you know, like Cube talked about the alcohol giving him a confidence boost, or giving his hockey a confidence boost. But at the time we see Luffy state something about like his hockey is getting stronger, you know, Kaido pretty much said that you know he was sobering up at that time. You know, so is it him sobering up that's making his hockey get stronger, or is it you know possibly a confidence boost with him, you know, from the alcohol, you know, from the alcohol. I don't know, you know, I don't know. It's hard to it's hard to say because, like I said, when Luffy said his hockey was getting stronger, this was you know right before Kaido pretty much was getting sober, was sobering up. So, but yeah. Next, I wanna talk a lot. I wanna talk more about Kaido's. It's almost like a depression, you know. You know, like when Kaido was in his his drunken stage, we see him crying. You know, we see him ranting about uh ranting about the destruction of his Onigashima and the castle and everything. And it's like I'm starting to believe Kaido could be like a sadomasochist to a degree. You know, he likes, you know, I think, you know, we know he wants to die. You know, we know he likes to drink, and when he drinks, he's in these very emotional state. But it's like he's putting himself like he knows, you know, he knows when he gets into these drunken states, he gets emotional, but yet he loves to drink and get into the state where he gets emotional and all these things. So I think Kaido has like a bit of self hate. You know, maybe it was how he defeated Odin. You know, and the fact that Odin had his glorious death and he doesn't get that, and Whitebeard and Goldie Roger, all these guys have these big deaths, and he cannot get that. Partially because he's already super tough. You know, we 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 notice, you know, when we was introduced to Kaido, you know, we was introduced to him with him trying to kill himself. He was jumping off of Sky Island and he tried to kill himself. And he failed. You know, he couldn't do it. He pretty much landed, got up, talked about it was, you know, a little headache. We seen how Kaido's been captured by the Navy so many times and they tried to kill him. They tried to kill him, but yet they can't. You know, so it's almost like, does he hate himself because he's so tough and he can't die? You know? And that, you know, there's other strong characters who was able to die, you know, who have been able to die and had glorious deaths, but yet he can't achieve that glorious death that he want. You know, we talk we see when he was fighting the scabbards, right? And he told him he says there's something great about death. Like I can't remember the exact phrase he uses. Somebody let me know in the chapter or in the chat if y'all know. But you know, it's like he's sad and he's in depression that he can't get the death that he wanted. Is that why though? Is does his depression come from his inability to have a glorious death? Does it come from the fact that so many guys that he respected have died? You know, maybe Odin, who he's seen as somebody who could potentially kill him and give him that glorious death. He won that fight, but in a not so honorable way. You know, even though I don't think he didn't want the help from that old lady, but she still helped him. She still interfered in his fight and made and tarnished the honorability, if that's a word, honorability. She tarnished the honor of that fight and getting herself involved. You know, so is like that part of the reason he's in the depression? Is it maybe him losing his captain? You know, the Rocks. You know, maybe that was like the one guy that he actually really like looked up to, and when his captain died, maybe he lost somebody. It's like that losing of somebody that he not only was special to him, but he had like probably the most respect for. The person that it's almost like Luffy losing Shanks. That's probably the similar way you can say relate Kaido and Luffy. Kaido lost the guy who inspired him. And if Shanks died, that would probably destroy Luffy on the inside. Q said maybe losing his dream. Rocks feels to be a crew of dreams. Yeah, but then that would lead me to question what is Kaido's dream that he lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this dream that Kaido lost? And hopefully, if that's the case, we get that in like the flashback. But what is this dream that Kaido lost? If that's indeed the case, is it death, an honorable death? Every time he loses a rival such as Whitebeard or Odin, it's like he's losing somebody who could potentially be that person to give him a grand death. You know what I'm saying? Like, if death is indeed his dream, if death is indeed his dream. But I believe that there's some self-hate in Kaido. Like Kaido hates himself because there was a part. Let me find it. Let me find it real quick. Like okay, so the part where after he pretty much spikes Luffy into the ground on Onigashima or the skull, and he says, "As fun as this might be, the castle and island are half destroyed already. They're useless to me now. I'm so miserable. Can't even keep one castle intact." Then he says, "I'll have to rebuild it, I guess, but it took 5 years to make it in the first place." And then there's like a little panel that says drowning in his sorrows. And then he said, "I guess I was the one getting sloppy. I gave it everything I had." And then he burps or he hiccups. But I think it just wasn't meant to be, And then later in that same panel, like on the bottom, he says he's crying and he's talking about, "Stay away from me, whoa. Just leave me alone, you idiot." So I honestly don't know what's going on with Kaido right now. Like why he opted to drink in the middle of a fight, and now why he's having this big old self-loathing session that he's having. Q says, I always thought he wanted to be Pirate King, but Roger beat him to it. And then he says, but now I'm not so sure. I don't think that's the case per se. I don't think Roger really beat him to becoming the Pirate King because Roger was already kind of further ahead than Kaido. Um, when Roger became Pirate King, he was already further ahead as a pirate than Kaido. So I don't know if he's upset that Roger beat him to it because it's like Roger was already pretty much a pirate with his own crew, doing his thing, and like when Roger met up with Zebek, Kaido was just a cabin boy. You know what I'm saying? Like he was just a cabin boy. He was he wasn't a full. It's not even like he was a fully fledged Rocks member. I mean, he was, but he was more like at the bottom of the totem pole. So when he finally became, I gotta get the timeline going because I gotta see what Kaido was doing at the time that Roger pretty much became Pirate King. What Kaido was doing. Was he still part of? I don't think he was part of Rocks. I think Rocks might have been out of the picture at that point in time. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if I would say that's the case. Like Roger, I don't think Roger took that dream from him. Is what I'm saying. Cube says, but now I am not so sure. Oh yeah, I already read that. Kaido is an emo. Yeah, he is kind of emo-ish. He is definitely being an emo right now. I don't know what's going on with my boy, man. I don't know what's going on with my boy. I'm kind of fearing that Oda might use this as a way to kind of nerf Kaido. Is what I'm saying. You said weren't Roger pirates considered newbies at God Valley incidents? They were, but if I remember correctly, they were. But it's like even then they were still ahead. They were still far ahead of the game than Kaido. I'm not talking about Rocks. Roger was further ahead in the game than Kaido was. Because even at that point, I think Kaido was still a cabin boy. And even if he wasn't a cabin boy, let's say he graduated to some, higher position in the Rocks Pirates, he still he wasn't a captain. He wasn't a captain with his own crew at that time. He was still a subordinate to a big name pirate. That's all Kaido was at that time. He was a subordinate to a big name Kaido or a big name pirate of that era. As for Roger, he was the captain. He was the captain of his crew, and he might have been a newbie, but you gotta look by the time Kaido, I guess, leaves his crew, right? And he starts his own crew. We see the flashback of King when Kaido met King and he was telling King like, "Hey, I'm about to start my own crew. Why don't you join and be my first mate?" I would assume Kaido was, this might have been years. This might have been a good chunk of years after the God Valley incident, and this was when Kaido decides to start his own crew. At that point, I would think that Roger might have already been. He either might have already been Pirate King, or he was very close to being Pirate King. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying from the time that Kaido starts his own crew and he goes off to be a pirate, Roger was already way ahead of Kaido. You know, like at that point, you can't even say they were rivals because Roger had a head start at that point. You know, it's like Kaido was just starting the race where Roger was like halfway done the race or possibly already finished the race. I mean, I don't know. I don't know when Kaido chose to start his crew. I don't know when that was in relation to where Roger was in his life. That's what I'm saying. But even then, Roger was, you know, already further ahead than Kaido, is what I'm saying. All right. All right. So Cube says, I feel like Zebek might have been the one who gave the idea of Laugh to Roger. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that would I couldn't say. I don't know. You know, because we haven't really seen any. Like we haven't seen any encounter with them two where they, as far as them talking and having a conversation. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it could be the case, but I would think if maybe the One Piece was already common knowledge at that point. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So maybe Kaido wanted to do it too, but like you said, Roger must have been further ahead. Yeah, like I said, I don't believe that. I don't believe that Kaido is upset that Roger took his dream. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I don't think Kaido is upset that Roger became Pirate King before him because I think it would have been a very it would have been unreasonable. In my opinion, it would have been unreasonable for Kaido to be upset at that because it's like that's like getting mad. To me, it's like being mad at somebody for beating you in a race when they had like a 10-minute head start, uh, for before you, or like yeah, like they had a 10-minute head start in this race, and they beat you because they had a head start. You know, it's like you would to me, I would be like, well, he beat me in his race because he had a head start. There wasn't much I could do about that. Ain't much you could do about somebody who has a head start over you. You know. Then he said, Q says, since he broke so many taboo. You talking about Zebek? I mean, again, I don't know, man. It's I can't. We don't have enough information on Zebek for me to sit to agree or disagree with the speculation that Zebek gave Roger the idea to go find the One Piece. It's just we don't got much to work on. It's you know, I mean, speculation. There's nothing wrong with speculation, but I can't really, I don't know. Cube said God Valley incident will have so many answers. Or maybe a Kaido flashback could give us answers, honestly. But all right, let me I want to talk about Zoe Zoe's arrival and purpose in the Wino arc. We get the last panel in the chapter where we see the silhouette of Zoe. Like we see all these Marines and stuff, and they're right outside of Wano. Waiting. I guess waiting for orders, waiting to see this battle culminate and then act. Depending on the outcome of this battle. Now if Kaido wins, and I'm speaking in story terms. I'm just saying like if Kaido wins, what would the world government do? Are their plans still to pretty much take over Wino? Because from what I get, the plan is if Kaido loses, they're going to occupy Wino. But if Kaido wins, what does the world government do? Or do they just leave Wano, or are they still just going to up and decide, hey, let's take out these two emperors before, water week, before they get a chance to recover and somehow become a threat to us again in the future. I would kind of think that, it would be wise for the world government to try to take down whoever wins, regardless, But I think from one of the early chapters when we see CP0, the order is just in case Kaido loses, just in case the Yonko lose, take pretty much take over Wano. We got reinforcements coming. Take over Wano, bring us Nicole Robin. In the case that Kaido is defeated. But that's all they say. They say in the case of Kaido being defeated, we will take over Wano and capture Robin. They didn't say in the case that they didn't say after the battle we're going to take over Wano. They said in the case of Kaido being defeated. But I would think, hey, just beat both, finish off whoever wins. And Cube said you called it. What you talking about? I called. Like what did I call? I'm confused though. I say so much stuff that sometimes by the time I read some of your comments, I'm kind of like, what are you referencing? And you said you addressed the mysterious devil fruit. Oh, we're going to talk about the devil fruit. We're going to talk about that. Or are you talking about Zoe? Are you talking about Zoe being outside of when you say I caught it? Are you talking about you called Zunisha? Well, the thing is, I know I said Zoe's arrival, but I don't know if Zoe just arrived at Wano. Like maybe Zoe's already there. The reason why I say that is because we got all the minks there, and the minks pretty much, they pretty much ride Zoe, right? They pretty much live on Zoe. So if the minks are there, I would assume that maybe they rode Zoe to Wano. So I would say, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of Zoe being there? Now, like my theory, which again, I wouldn't say it's solely my theory. I wouldn't say I'm the originator of this theory, but it's the theory that I believe is Zoe is there. Zoe's purpose in Wano is to destroy the borders of Wano, right? That's what I would think. Destroy the borders of Wano. That's the goal. That's the goal of Isn't that the goal of Wano? Like the goal of the Red Scabbards, the goal of Odin, which pretty much is the inherited will of Odin that was inherited to the Red Scabbards, right? Is to open the border of Wano, and Momonosuke, it's his current goal, is to open the borders of Wano. So if that's the case, how do you open those borders? How do you break the borders? I would say a giant elephant that's the size of possibly even bigger than mountains. I would think he possibly got the firepower to destroy something as big as a border. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of my theory. I'm thinking Zoe's purpose in Wano is to destroy the borders, to open up Wano, right? Cube says, "Yep, the better question if there's anybody else than minks on Zoe. You mean like other species of people that live on Zoe? Or you mean like just somebody possibly controlling Zoe to I don't know. Like just a certain character maybe. Is that what you're talking about? Like is there anybody else than the minks on Zoe? Or are we talking about like the ones who live on Zoe? Like maybe there's other species of beings that live on Zoe, you know, or allies is what you're saying. Um, yeah, it would just be who would be these allies, and what are they going to do? Are they going to reinforce the battle? Maybe, maybe they. I mean, I guess they could possibly fight off the world government. That's a possibility. Uh, Cube says I read on Reddit that maybe allies of the Minx are there. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know who it would be. Who it would be. Like I don't know. Like who would they be and why aren't they like what are they doing? Are they just I guess controlling Zoe or are they backup backup reinforcements? You know, are they about to help this battle in Onigashima, or are they about to possibly hold off the world government? Like, if there are indeed these allies on Zoe, which I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So maybe some were left for backup. Or he said, my bad. He said since Izo was brought by the Minx leaders on Wino, so maybe some were left for backup. Yeah. See, my question would be: was Zoe already there? Did Zoe arrive maybe earlier in the arc, like with Nekamamushi and Izo and them, or did Zoe just arrive? You know, did he like just get the Wino? You know, like that's my question. Cause now that I think about it, I'm kind of looking at where these ships are faced, right? So in one panel where we see all these ships, these world government ships, right? We see the ships facing one way, right? They're facing one way, and I'm assuming the way that they're facing is towards Wino, right? They're facing Wino. But then on that last panel, we see the ships, like we see Zoe behind these ships. Like they're behind the ships, and the ships are facing Wino. So it kind of looks to me that Zoe could be just arriving on the scene, you know. And if that is the case, maybe I mean there could be allies that are on Zoe that are arriving at Wino. But my one question is if that is the case, let's say these allies are riding Zoe and they're on their way to Wino. How who's controlling Zoe? Who is guiding Zoe? Right? Who is guiding Zoe to Wino? Because from what I know, Zoe pretty much just kind of walks, right? Zoe's command was to just pretty much roam the seas, roam the oceans, and just walk. With no real destination, right? No destination. But we see that the only person who could probably the only person that we know of that can control Zoe, and the only person who I would say could probably order Zoe where to go, right? Almost like steer Zoe, you could say. Like they could steer him like they have a steering wheel, will be Momonosuke. It would be Momonosuke. And Momonosuke's in Wano. He's currently on Onigashima. So he would have no way to really order Zoe to go to Wano. Unless he calls Zoe up on like a one of them what are they called? A Denmushi, you know, a Denmushi, right? He called Zoe on the Denmushi like, hey Zoe, I need you to bring your ass to Wano. Then maybe, but I also have another direction this could be. Maybe Zoe, right? He may still be acting on order. Like maybe one of his orders was like, "Hey, you supposed to go to Wano around this time," and this is pretty much the deadline, right, for Zoe to return to Wano. You know, so Zoe's kind of almost acting on like a natural clock where maybe he just knows it's time to return to Wano and fulfill his purpose. You know what I'm saying? Let me read the chat. He says, or took too long to arrive. Said that's a good question. Zoe could have been there. Yeah, I mean, maybe Zoe was already there. You know, maybe they. I don't know. You know, because it looked like he arrived behind the world government. So seeing how they would have came from that direction, they would have noticed him. You know, when they was arriving there. So I would think that Zoe just arrived based on, you know, how the panel looks. So you said I think it's linked to the story of Zonisha being punished by someone in Wano. Yeah, I mean I agree with that. I agree with that. Somehow Momonosuke might have done something when he gave that order. Yeah, and I was going to say I think that was another likelihood I was going. My third likelihood is maybe Momonosuke told like he gave an order to Zoe to arrive at Wano on like a giving date. I don't know. You know, I don't know. If that's the case though, Momonosuke has some great forethought, like to know the specific day he needs Zoe to arrive at Wano. That would have been some Aizen level forethought. some Aizen level, right? And then Cube also said this makes me think that Tama's fruit must be connected to it. So you think Tama could have gave Zoe a dumpling, right? And now she controls Zoe. So I mean, I think that would be funny though. I think that'd be funny, but my only issue with that would be like, you know, it would if Tama gave Zoe her one of her dumplings, right? It would kind of kill Momonosuke's ability to control Zoe, right? Because it's like Tama would be the one to control Zoe. No longer would Momonosuke control it. It would be Tama. Q said more a former user punished Zoe. Yeah, that. Oh, okay. So you think whoever had whoever previously down like previously long time ago, somebody in Wano had Tama's devil fruit, and they pretty much used that devil fruit in order to control Zoe. Like that's what you're saying. That's what I'm getting from what you're saying. That's possible because how I see it, her devil fruit. Because you know how we know what we know from devil fruits, right? Like if I have a devil fruit and I die, like that devil fruit will blossom on like the nearest fruit, right? And if that's the case, her devil fruit probably would have to stay in Wano because it's like, people ain't just coming in and out of Wano, right? So if that devil fruit user had that devil fruit and controlled Zoe or whatever at one point, every time they died, the devil fruit would bloom somewhere in Wano, right? Like so that's kind of what I would think, based on what we know from devil fruits. But I think it might have something more to do with like the voice of all things. What Luffy has, like his ability to be able to interact with not interact but hear. Like he can hear animals. Like he could hear sea kings. He was able to hear Zoe. But but the one thing that Luffy isn't, like Luffy can't control sea kings and he can't control Zoe. He can just hear them. Whereas Momonosuke can hear him and he can also communicate with Zoe. I think that's a inherited. I think that's like a inherent like an inherent ability for Koski. Like just think of what's her name? The mermaid princess, Shirahoshi, right? Like we know she's Poseidon and she can communicate with or she could command sea kings. So maybe like the Kazuki have like a special form of control over like Zoe's race, right? Maybe the Koski clan are the kind of like how the Fishman royalty, like Shirahoshi and her bloodline, her lineage, they are the vessels for Poseidon, right? Maybe the Koski are vessels of the ancient weapon Uranus, right? Like we talk about a lot about Uranus, right? One of my theory is that it has something to do with weather, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Momonosuke is Uranus, right? Maybe the Koski hosts. Maybe they host Uranus, kind of like the Fishman royal family. Maybe they host like they host Poseidon, the Fishman princess. So maybe it's a similar thing with the Koski. Maybe they host Uranus, and that's why Momonosuke could control Zonisha. I don't know, but I don't know. I kind of I hope Momonosuke is not Uranus. I kind of hope that, but okay. So you're saying with the stipulation to only answer to Koski. So the Thomas Devil Fruit, give it to the elephant, and they're pretty much commanded like always obey Koski. I mean, look, I'm not against that. I'm not against that theory. I kind of like it better than the idea of Momonosuke being Uranus because I like my theory of what Uranus. I like the whole weather control thing. Yeah, Luffy can hear, but Momonosuke can hear and control. Yeah, mention that. All right, so kind of talking about the part of the chapter that I would say most people probably you know talked about in this chapter because Fortunately, I wasn't spoiled by this chapter, but I do know that this chapter got a lot of buzz. It got a lot of attention. You know, I seen some I seen video titles talking about like devil, like a secret devil fruit. Some people speculate it's talking about the gum gum like Luffy's devil fruit, the gum gum no mi. So I knew it was something about a devil fruit. I knew something about devil fruit was in this chapter, but fortunately, I didn't get like spoiled on like any major spoilers or anything. We got Elids in the building. He said, maybe Zunisha is Pluton. Cube said interesting since it's a ship. I don't know, man. I don't know. Cause I mean, is Zunisha a ship though? Cause I mean, like how I see it. Look, we know from what we know from back in Water Seven was Zunisha was Pluton is a ship, right? I don't know if I would qualify Zunisha as a ship. I mean, it could get you from point A to B as a ship, but it's more kind of like a floating country to me because you can't really steer Zunisha unless you're Momono. Well, okay. I mean, I guess you can steer Zunisha, so technically it could be a ship. So that's a that's a deep thought, but but I feel like Oda already kind of built Pluton up to be a inanimate ship, because we see there was blueprints to Pluton. Um, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess Zunisha technically could probably destroy an island. You know, I don't see why I couldn't trample over an island and destroy it. I don't know. I don't know. That's an interesting theory. I would have to hear more. I would have to hear more. Uh, like I would have to hear more about that theory. I had to get more information from about that theory, Elids, because I still kind of look at it as like a ship, as far in a traditional ship sense, like an object, inanimate object built of wood and all those things. That's what I would kind of have to look at it from. But yeah, moving on to more stuff about the Gorosei, their conversation. All right, so first I kind of want to talk about the it says this year's reverie is simply accursed. Like that's what we get from one of the Gorosei members. I want to know what it was that got him so up in up in arms. Is it the whole Sabo situation? You know, like, and from what it seems like, they captured Sabo, right? Like they potentially, unless Sabo got away, they potentially captured Sabo. Like based off of the Revolutionary Army, their response to the news, to them it almost seemed like bad news. You know what I'm saying? Like something bad happened to Sabo. And if that's the case, I would think that's kind of good news on the Gorsei's part. You know, so I mean, maybe Sabo kind of ruined the joy of it. You know, even if they captured him, he still kind of put that bad taste in their mouth. Or maybe they could also be talking about what could they be talking about? Maybe somebody died. I don't know. Like maybe this could be confirmation that somebody died in during the reverie. Or like I'm really trying to see what could have, like what do you guys think? What you guys think? Do you guys think like when he called the reverie accursed, it was whatever the whole Sabo situation is, or could it be something else? Like maybe they failed to kill Cobra, right? The king of Alabasta, Vivi's dad. Maybe they failed to kill him. Um, maybe they were upset of the abolish abolishment of the Shichibukai. Maybe it's just a combination of all these things. Maybe it's a combination of all these things that got the one guy like so still thinking badly about the reverie. You know, Cube said either he got captured or he fled, and the world government created some extra charges. Yeah, I don't know, man, because I'm kind of going off of the Revolutionary Army's response, kind of like whatever happened, it was bad news. Maybe Sabo got caught, that's why they ragged, or maybe just the news, the fact that there's news that Sabo tried to assassinate somebody, or did assassinate somebody. Maybe that's why the Revolutionary Army was upset, because now it could hinder their goals. And if that is indeed the case, I could definitely see why the Gorosei would be upset that Sabo got away. But if he didn't get away and they captured him, I would think they would probably be happy about that. See that as a good thing. Unless somebody got assassinated, then again that could be a bad thing. It just that alone just makes me want to know more about what happened at the Reverie. Like him saying that, I want to know what happened at the Reverie. Cube said like attempted murder on a celestial dragon, but for sure not dead. Now I don't think Sabo's, or you're saying the other person who Sabo quote unquote tried to assassinate ain't dead. I got you. Or he managed to get Kuma out. I don't even think it's really a point in saving Kuma at this point. Kuma seems like he's beyond saving. Like if they do save Kuma, right? I guess save him and then maybe put him out of his misery, because he's like at this point he's not even human. Like I think all traces of human from Kuma is gone, But maybe putting him out of his misery so he's not being used as a toy, a toy that the Gorosei could, or not the Gorosei, but the celestial dragons could just, do what they want, you know. Maybe Sabo did something of that sort. Maybe Sabo killed Kuma. you know, Put him out of his misery. You know. Cube said, I read a theory that maybe Sabo kidnapped Vegapunk, the brain behind the science faction. Oh, that would be interesting. That would definitely be interesting to kidnap him. Get him away from the world government's clutches. Okay, and then like the final thing I want to talk about is this devil fruit. I'm gonna read it. I want to read it. It says, no, that's impossible. That fruit is only a legend now, even to us. It has not awakened for centuries upon centuries. Then why would the world government bother to give that one specific devil fruit another name? So, okay, what we got from that? What we got from that or I kind of missed some stuff. Another thing it says is it's to erase the fruit's name from the annals of history, isn't it? So what we got from that is that this mystery devil fruit, it hasn't awakened for centuries. What does it mean by awaken? What does it mean by awaken? Does it mean like whoever has this, does awaken mean like it hasn't shown itself? You know, like maybe awakening could also mean like the blooming of a devil fruit, right? Like when the devil fruit user dies, right? Maybe when the devil fruit is transferred from that after that person's death to a new fruit, it blooms. It's kind of like an awakening. The devil fruit awakens. It comes to be almost. So is it like the devil fruit has just been kind of gone lost in history because it hasn't like shown itself? Or does it mean that like people had the devil fruit, right? But it just never actually, its real abilities has never awakened, you know. Its real abilities has never awakened. Cause that could mean that like there's a devil fruit, right? That that shows itself to be one thing, right? It shows itself to be one thing. But after it awakens, it almost takes on property as another type of devil fruit. You know. So like that's what I like, maybe it could mean that. Like maybe somebody could have this devil fruit, but until it awakens, you know, the devil fruit and all the abilities you get from it are um different, right? Almost like a metamorphosis, right? You see a caterpillar, right? A caterpillar, it looks a certain way, has certain properties, but when it when it wraps itself in the cocoon and it goes through a metamorphosis, it awakens to be to be a butterfly, and it's no longer a caterpillar. It's a butterfly now. Now they could do stuff that it couldn't do as a caterpillar, such as fly, such as uh, you know, create other caterpillars that will eventually turn into butterflies. So maybe when it says awaken, it just mean it didn't it there was nobody who actually had this devil fruit that has ever been able to awaken the devil fruit and open its real potential, like use it to its real potential and its real abilities. And it even says, so it says, then why would the government bother to give that one specific devil fruit another name? It's to erase that fruit's name from the annals of history. So that means, if my previous idea, my previous speculation is right, this devil fruit, this mystery devil fruit, it it goes by one name, and it gives the user a specific set of abilities. But after that devil fruit is awakened, you know, and its real abilities come to light, you know, its name doesn't really give it any justice, right? Its name doesn't give it any justice. So they had to change the name so its real name, you know, so let's say if you never change the name and it had its real name, then maybe people would think that they would be like, okay, well this devil fruit gives me a certain abilities, but its name suggests it has other abilities, so maybe I have to awaken the devil fruit. Something along that line. Like I don't know. I don't know, you know, but I think that's why they would have to change the name so, people could never get this idea that when they awaken this devil fruit, it really gives you, a different set of abilities, I guess. And let me read this chat because I've seen some things. All right, so they changed his name so it's devil fruit that hasn't awakened in a while. I think it's the awakening of the devil fruit. Then Elid says a lot of people are saying it's the gummo gummo. However, devil fruit users learn the name of the fruit when they eat it. So if the world government changed the name of the Gummo Gummo, Luffy would still know its true name. That is, unless if the Gummo Gummo was tampered with. And Cube said, "Don't believe it's the Gummo. It must be a devil fruit with a name that isn't accurate. Maybe Law's Operation Devil Fruit." And I'm glad y'all brought those points up because I've seen people say the Gummo. See, I didn't even mention the Gummo Gummo no Me. I didn't even mention it. I mean, I was gonna bring it up because I did see like part of like when I wasn't spoiled, but I seen somebody talking about like the devil fruit, like the Gummo Gummo having other properties or whatever, but I don't think it's the Gummo Gummo no Me. A lot of because of what Elid says, you know, I don't know. But what Cube said about it being Law's Operation Devil Fruit, like that makes probably the most sense, right? Either that or even Kaido's Devil Fruit, you know? But Laws definitely probably make the most sense because we know if it's awakened, if the devil fruit's awakened, then it could give somebody immortality, you know. And it says it, and again it says no, that's impossible. That fruit is only a legend now, even to us. But at the same time, my question would be, I would think these guys know that Luffy has the Gummo Gummo no Mi and Law has the Opie Opie no Mi, but they're saying it as if like they said like the one says no, that's impossible. That fruit is only legend now, even to us. You know, I would think they know. I would think that the Gorosei has a good gauge of like all the pirates in the world and what devil fruits they use. What devil fruit, especially the popular pirates, right? Like Luffy, Law, Kid, all these guys. But they're saying it as it's still a legend. Like right now, they still don't even know if it's still around, right? You know, what he says kind of makes me think when they say it has not awakened for centuries upon centuries. Maybe awaken means that it hasn't appeared, you know, like it hasn't shown itself, right? That just that part kind of made me think that's what it means. So like if Law has it, right, and before Law even had it, they was aware of where the devil fruit was. Like they was aware of the devil fruit, and so I think it might be a devil fruit that we still have yet to see. You know, but if it is a devil fruit that we've seen, it could be Law's. It could definitely be Law's devil fruit. You know, it could be Law's devil fruit. Like when it does, if when they say it awakens, mate, and that if when they say awakens, they mean actually like somebody like the user awakening the devil fruit, then I could probably see it being Law. Uh, I'm trying to think of other people it could potentially be, but I can't really. I kind of think Kaido. I was going to say Momonosuke, but Momonosuke has an artificial devil fruit. Um, Maybe not Yamato. Maybe Yamato. But yeah, like so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's the Gummo Gummo no Mi though. I don't think it would be that. But if it is, let's just talk about if it is. Let's talk about what if it's the Gummo Gummo no Mi. Because I guess people just assume it's Luffy because like he's the main character. It's like why they talking about a specific devil fruit and it not be Luffy. I just don't think it's Luffy. But let's say it is Luffy and the Gumu Gumu no Mi, like if you awaken it, it gets different type of properties. I mean, I don't know how I don't know what the Gumu Gumu no Mi could do that makes it so legendary, right? That even the Gorosei almost kind of speak of it as like myth and legend, and almost with like a level of fear, almost. You know, chat said Cube says must be a devil fruit from the worst generation because it hasn't happened in a while. And then Elid said because of devil fruit learning the name of its fruit after eating, I don't think it's a fruit we know of at the moment. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I I agree with that. I don't think it's because it's how they're. It's I'm kind of looking at the the wording of it. You know, like with the bald Gorosei member with the big mustache. Like he says, no, that's impossible. That fruit is only a legend now. Like I don't see like the Gumu Gumu no Mi is not really held as a legend. You know, and even if it did change his name, it would still be a legendary fruit. Like even if they did change the name of the Gumu Gumu no Mi, it would still be a legendary fruit. I mean, I could kind of see why maybe people think it's the Gumu Gumu no Mi because there was a point where the world government they had possession of the Gumu Gumu no Mi, and who's who was the one that was supposed to be protecting it, but Shank stole it, right? So but the way he's talking, it's like he's talking about the devil fruit as it being a legend, like something that you can't even really find almost. And when you say it has not awakened for centuries upon centuries, I don't really take it as like somebody who has it just didn't awaken the devil fruit. I take it more so that the devil fruit never revealed itself. Like nobody has been able to find the devil fruit, you know, or maybe it just never bloomed, you know, because usually after devil fruit user dies, the devil fruit blooms into another fruit. But what if for some devil fruit that's not always the case? You know, maybe like mythological devil fruits, you know, or certain mythological devil fruits, they might only bloom on occasion, you know, when they feel as though they're ready. Eliz said either Pluton or Uranus could be an alternate name for devil fruit. Hmm. Eliz strong with that Pluton not being like the conventional ship. I kind of like that idea maybe more for Uranus. You know, like let's say Pluton being an actual ship, and then Poseidon being a fishman princess, and then Uranus being like a devil fruit. But what kind of devil fruit are we talking about? You know, because if it is indeed a devil fruit, I would, me personally, especially with my speculation that Uranus has something to do with like weather control, I would think that Uranus would possibly be like a devil fruit that controls the weather, right? That's what I would think, which would be OP as hell. You know, just imagine having the devil fruit. So like when it awakens and somebody get it, you know, hmm. But then again, I could be wrong about that awakening. Maybe it does actually mean awakening, because maybe when it's not awakened, it just it acts as a normal devil fruit. You know what I'm saying? But because the reason why I feel I kind of switched my ideas because he said because why would they give it another name? You know, if it's a devil fruit that like is hard to come by and hardly ever awakens as far as blooming and blooming, why would they need to give it a name, a different name, right? And why would they need to erase the name from from why would they need to erase the original name from history? You know, I would think probably because they don't want nobody knowing. Maybe the devil fruit does exist, but they don't want nobody knowing the true nature of the devil fruit. So they wouldn't go try and awaken it and you know have these different abilities. Maybe it'd be super OP. But yeah. Let me check out these chats. Said, are we sure that the devil fruit user knows his devil fruit name when he eats? Or could it be its ability? Because that could explain how they were able to change the name. Yeah, yeah, Eliz. I mean, that's a good point though. Like, I'm trying to recall about like people remembering like knowing the devil fruit name after eating. You know, I definitely need more info on that aspect, Eliz. And he said because that could. Oh, I read that. He said must be a devil fruit that we've seen. Why introducing? Why introducing like that when we never saw it? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This is a tough one, man. This is definitely a tough one. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got. I don't know about this devil fruit. That's it might be cause for more conversation, but that's pretty much what I got. Those are my thoughts on this current chapter. It was a good chapter. I think there could be more conversation to be had about this mystery devil fruit. You know, could it be a devil fruit that we've seen already? It definitely could be. Could it be the gummo gummo no me? I mean, if like Elid says, if the user knows the name of the true name of the devil fruit they eat, then I wouldn't see it. Then I would think Luffy would know the true names, same as Law. But if that's not the case, I guess it could be the Gummo Gummo no Mi. It could also be Law's devil fruit. I think Laws probably make more sense because when you awaken that, you could make somebody become immortal. I don't know how awakening the Gummo Gummo no Mi, what that would do to somebody. And how it almost would be that different. Cube said that's the issue with devil fruit. We haven't had the devil fruit 101 crash course. They said so many things we don't know about devil fruits. That's true. That's true. So many. But yeah, y'all. That's pretty much what I got for the chapter. All I got for the chapter. It was a good chapter. I'm a little upset that we don't got a chapter next week, man. At least the official. I wait till the official drop. I read when the official drops. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do next Sunday just yet. Elids, if you free next Sunday, holla at me. maybe we could do maybe we could do a collab stream if you don't have nothing going. I'll definitely message you, see if we want to get something going on. And Cube said thanks for the live. Yeah, no doubt, man. I do these Sundays, man. Of course, if it's a chapter, I'm a drop a live unless I'm like super sick and I just can't do it. But even then, I'll just drop it the day after if I recover quick enough. But yeah, so I didn't do the Law Sword Connection Part 2 reaction I was going to do. I was going to do it yesterday, but I had a job yesterday and that took a lot longer than I originally anticipated. And when I got home, I wasn't feeling my best. I think I might have the whole COVID virus. I think I might. I don't feel super bad, but I had a headache yesterday. So, but yeah. Cube said there's an interesting Usopp theory that O'Hara dropped, by the way. If I get around to watching it, maybe I'll watch it and react to it. But, I got a few videos, so that'll be one I had to get to when I get to. But yeah, y'all, we're almost at 50 subscribers. I will say that we're at that precipice. We're at that precipice. So once we get to that 50 subscriber mark, y'all, I will be doing a giveaway. I will be doing that giveaway. There will be more details later on after we reach that benchmark. I will give you guys the details on one of these Sunday streams, one of these chapter streams. I'll give you guys the details. After we reach it, of course. Tomorrow, like I said, I'll be doing the Law and Sword Connection thing. I think we have 2 more episodes of the Archer Library of O'Hara mega theory he has. I'll be doing that Wednesday. Yeah, so guys, make sure you like the stream if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button. We're close to that 50 subscriber mark. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and on my Facebook page. Links will be in the description. If you need a One Piece community to be a part of, join the One Piece Discord and or the One Piece Facebook group. And yeah, links all in the description box. Hope I see you guys tomorrow on tomorrow's stream, especially if I'm feeling good. Today I'm good. Today I'm feeling okay. I don't know how I'm gonna feel tomorrow. But yeah. Anyway, it's your boy Sean Peter Bluff. God, hey, and I'm out of here. Y'all have a good Sunday evening. Peace.